Hello, everybody. Sorry I'm a little late, but thank you so much for joining me on Waking Up with Kandy as we share our spiritual journey experiences with each other for purpose of resonance. So we have Eunice here with us. She is the vice president of Empress Evolution. I see that she's here. Yay! Okay, cool. Thank you. Let me accept it. Woo. So nervous, I know. I'm so nervous too.
Hi.
Okay.
Did you feel that?
Did I feel what? Yeah. What was that? What is that?
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Hi.
Okay, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining. I know today, I don't know about you, but I felt very heavy energetically today. It's been pretty thick. So thank you. I don't know how today's been for you, but I'm like Amy says her energy. I hope I'm saying your name right too. Your energy is so good and just on our wavelengths together.
I know.
This is just needed, so needed. So I'm so excited. I'm already sweating. So yay! Okay. So hi. Okay. Welcome to Waking Up with Kandy. If you guys don't know who I am, it's the first time we're meeting. My name is Candace, and I'm a being just like you, and I love to just share and listen with the experiences of others and what their transformation has been thus far. So Eunice, you are the vice president, like I said, of Empress Evolution.
Yes.
Super impressive, and that's where we met through Amelia's one of her
master classes. Yeah.
Master classes.
Yeah.
Totally instantly hit it off. I mean, Amelia even was like, you guys should connect after. So yes. So okay. I'm just gonna dive right in.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself and your journey thus far. How you came to be where you are now.
Whatever. Yeah, super easy question to answer.
Right. Totally. You know what? I forgot. My windows are open and I live like right by the freeway. So let me close them really quick. Sorry. Oh my God, how ghetto. Okay.
Hi everyone. This is my first public live, so I'm a little nervous. So, but Candace is such I love her energy. Oh my God. And the people that were on the master class with us, they were like, them too? That's like chipmunk energy. And we were like, yes! So maybe if you guys could feel the same sort of energy that we feel.
I think so. For sure, right? For sure. Stacy does. What's up? Oh, we're here. I love it.
We're here. So could you ask a more specific question?
Yeah. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself, where, some special things about you, or what you're doing now, how was your awakening experience? Like, what was that trigger? Yeah. It's definitely hard too, I know. Sometimes it's an easy one, but yeah, just.
All right, so I'm Eunice Cervantes, and I'm 32. I'm from Dallas, Texas. My family is Mexican, and I grew up very poor, low income. My dad left when I was really young, and my mom, she was strong, single parent. So I learned a lot from her. But I also had to become the second parent, I had to parent myself, and I became the dad. So a lot of my life growing up, I was more in my masculine energy.
Mm-hmm.
it was really hard, especially in relationships, to be both things because I grew up one way, but I wanted to be another way. So it was super weird. And then when I was 25, I was living in Chicago and I was living my best life. I was going to grad school. I was like working out every day. Like I was living my life, the best of the best. And I came back to Dallas for Christmas break. And my cousin at the time, who was 21, we were both like of drinking age, and it was the first time that we could be like adults together. So we went to a bar for his birthday, and there was no intentionality. It was just about like going out with my cousin. And while we were talking, all of a sudden this like man came like right here to me, and I don't even remember what he said, but as soon as our eyes met, like, girl, there was like thunder all across my body, and I'm really experiencing right now. Okay, cool, that's cool. And that was it. That was like, whew. Um, a lot of people call it the twin flame sort of energy, right? Like you've heard this before.
Oh yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. Ooh, that's some twin flame energy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really funny. After 4 years of knowing each other, sorry, after 4 days, 4 days, 4 days, he proposed, and I said yes. So that's the beginning of my story. And then it was this like battle between what I knew deep down spiritually, like he's the love of my life. There's nobody else. And all this like learned behavior that I hadn't worked through at the time. And his learned behavior that he hadn't worked through at the time. So we didn't end up getting married. We set the date a couple of times, then moved it, and then eventually he said, "Hey, I love you. I want you in my life, but I don't want to marry you." And that was the biggest heartbreak. The biggest, like, I had given this man everything, and I moved back from Chicago. I had stepped away from my living my life, my best life, to come back to Dallas. And at the time, I didn't get along with my mom, and I had this like really weird relationship with my family. He and I were living in his parents' house in his room, like it wasn't even a home. It was just like I was in his room. Um, so obviously everything came out. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then after we broke up, I was devastated, completely. I had lost everything. I had given everything. Like I grew up with this idea, like rose-colored glasses, um, and they shattered, right? Like I had this idea that like if you just love enough, if there's enough love, everything will work out. But without, I don't know, talking about what you want, what you need, without communication, without openness, without love, without, unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so after we broke up, and I was completely devastated. I had to move in back with my mom, with my family, and I was staying on the couch, like I was in the living room, like I didn't have my own room. Like my family would be in the dining room, like laughing, watching TV, and I'd be in the living room with the lights off and just crying my eyes out. Like
Mm.
that's how bad it was. I was like, I don't care if they can hear me crying.
Her
Right?
heartbroken.
Yeah,
Completely
no,
heartbroken.
completely. And like shattered. It's shattered in my perspective of what life was and what it's supposed to be, and what I'm supposed to be like. Even if like Hispanic culture, right? Like women are supposed to get married and have kids, and like like that whole thing, right? Like everything came crashing down. And my niece, who was one at the time, mind you, my birthday's December 5th, her birthday's December 4th.
Oh,
Like there's a special relationship there, definitely. She was one at
interesting.
the time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She was one at the time, and she came up to me and she was like, "I don't care that you're crying. You need to entertain me right now." And I was like, "Oh,
What?
yeah, yeah,
1
no,
years
I'll laugh with
old?
you.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll laugh with you. I'll like, I'll play games with you. Like, I'll take pictures with you." Because she just wanted attention, but she got me out of my funk. Like, she's my sunshine. She's my everything. So I was very blessed, very lucky to have her in my life. and have her be like, I don't care if you're depressed. I'm 1 year old and you need to entertain me. So that was really the beginning. I started going to Codependence Anonymous. You know, I don't know if you know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But really like digging through all of the learned behaviors, all of my traumas. Like I didn't really open up or really allow myself to dig through, like, like, for example, like I was sexually abused when I was younger, but I didn't think about it or let that be part of my conscious energy, but it controlled my unconscious energy, right? Like that was a big, huge factor, right? So there are things that I work through because of that whole experience that I'm such happier, better person now. And my spiritual journey started there, I think. But there's been different phases, right? Like different levels of like knowingness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the really big kicker, especially right now, was after I did Amelia's course, which is a happiness course. It like, and she asked me this. She's like, "Okay, what's your happiness level?" I said, "Well, my happiness level is like a 7, but I know there's like things that I don't really want to look at. Like they're there,
Shadows.
and I don't. I mean, ugh." And she was like, "Okay, this program is for people that are wanting to face that, but need like a hand or support, or need like somebody to do it with you." So the program really, really helped to like break down those last bits that I didn't want to face by myself. So I can say like I'm at a 10 now. Like you can tell, right?
But
Like
then,
my
yes, and that's so amazing that you can say that now. And but then having that having that realization and that awareness of, yeah, I know that's there and I don't want to see it, but like, okay, I'm willing, if you're gonna do it with me, okay, let's do it. And you're willing to do the work, and you're willing to see it and call it out. And
yeah.
I know she like really
Oh.
really calls that shit, like calls it out. Oh my god, I love that. That was like, I love how she does. She just really digs. Yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, so after doing the course, it was amazing and wonderful, and I was completely at a different level. And I started getting more messages. Like I could tell the difference between my ego and my higher self,
Mm.
right? Like I could tell when God was telling me to do something. Something as simple as like I would get like a name of one of my friends, and I'd be like, okay, I have to text her. And I would text her and be like, hey, dude, like I really needed to talk to you. How did you know that I needed? I was like, I don't know. Source told me, like, right? Like little things like that. So you just keep listening. I kept listening more and more, and that kind of just the practice kind of got bigger. Um, and then after that, I've just been on this Amelia track, on this happiness track, on this ascension track, just like everybody else, right? Like is crazy, is crazy. And the ascension symptoms are real, like absolutely. um, but very happy to be in this life, in this world right now. Like, I don't know. Things are great. Things are gonna get better. Yeah.
100%. 100%. I agree with you. Um, it's interesting because that's a lot of the questions that I'm getting right now. Is like those beginning stages where, when synchronicities come in, you're like,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, oh my gosh, my phone's dying, really. And all this synchronicities happening, then you're like, get this download or like this inkling, like, oh, I should call my friend, or oh, I should do this, or maybe I should take this with me. And then you see like, oh, I knew it. So it's so beautiful how that connects together. Like, I love it. So I'm just like trying, like I have people kind of saying, what does that mean? And it's just like so beautiful, because when that comes into their awareness, that's when things just are like opening up before them more and more. And it's just like the beginning. It's amazing. It's so good. Makes me sweat again. Like, am I always sweating? Oh my God.
Is that an ascension symptom?
Yeah. Duh. But yeah, so then you're with Amelia and you're working with her
Mhm.
in your happiness journey. Oh, and so in that call, in the master call,
Yes.
Amelia said, She was actually mentioning a few times before that master class that I went to, that a few of her girls were coming up to like mastery level. And then when I was on the call, she had mentioned you are one of them. I'm like, oh my gosh, how beautiful. So I'm just what does that feel like? Like, what does that look like?
So this is gonna sound weird.
We're all just girls here. We're just talking.
Right?
Just us too.
It doesn't feel that much different. And only because um, when you're on the spiritual journey and you're like ready for it, you're constantly trying to hear your higher self. You're trying to clear and you're trying to see the lessons in everything that happens. And you're constantly like going on lives or doing articles or even looking at spiritual memes. And I'm like, is that true? Right? Like finding what resonates with you and discernment and practicing these things.
Mm-hmm.
So that it's the same process. It's exactly the same. There's just a level of understanding that I didn't have because I met my twin 7 years ago, dude. Like I've been on this journey
Yes,
for
and
a while.
I mean, whatever you're comfortable with, but I would love to know, where do you guys stand now? Like, because I'm sure you've been through a lot. It wasn't just ended there, I'm sure, right? It just was like, oh, and never talk to him again, or did it?
No. We were off and on for years,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a year I didn't even talk to him because I was just like so in my, whatever that experience was for us, that I was like, oh, he's an asshole and he's a narcissist and like, getting away from me before I woke up to like what twin flames were.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw him a year later, almost exactly a year later, and the same thing, thunderbolt, like through the
Oh,
body, and I was like, oh fuck, this doesn't go away.
like, how could you ignore that? Like,
Yeah,
that's just,
like nothing changed, absolutely nothing.
oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so I love him. I'm so grateful for him. Regardless, we're not together, but regardless if we end up together or not, like love him. Just is amazing. I wish him the best, and wherever our journey takes us, that's where we're gonna end up. Yeah.
That's when see, you come through layers, deeper layers, higher layers of awareness, right? So that then you can see it for what it was or what it is in your life.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
huge. That's when you're like, okay, I've healed from this so that I'm not I don't want to say burdened, but that came like, or just like suffering from it and heartbreak from it, like that's it feels impossible, right, when you're in it to come to that awareness.
Yeah, yeah. And to even in this journey, right, to be able to see, because Amelia's program, a lot of it is about forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and being able to break apart that story of like he did this to me and he's an asshole, like I'm a victim, right? Like that whole sort of mentality and trying to shift that perspective and say like, okay, if for example, if we are twin flames, then he loves me as much as I love him. Like he wants
Right.
me as much as I want him. But can you imagine loving somebody incredibly so much, but having to tell them, I love you, but I cannot marry you? How hard that must have been for him. And
Yeah.
that shifted my perspective. Once I saw the pain and the struggle, because I was never going to be the one that go, hey guy, hey, like we're struggling, let's talk about this. No, he had to be the one that to wake me up in that way. And of course that's the contract we agreed to, right? But the fact that he had to do that, like that was not easy for him, and I fully acknowledge that.
Mm-hmm. That's huge. I really love that perspective because I, as myself, have gone through something like that, like realizing that things aren't personal. It's not so
Mm-hmm.
personal as we feel it is.
Yeah.
So like, if I love this person so much, right, and I feel like I need a break from them, or oh, we shouldn't be doing this, but I really love them, like I really do, and I have all these feelings, you just apply it to them. Like if so, like exactly what you're saying, to have that perspective and knowing, look, it's not they can love me and adore me and want to be with me forever, but really their truth right now is they just can't, and it's just not right now a fit for you two.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And that has nothing to do with you personally. It's just, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because that breakup started everything. Me working through my trauma and my codependency and all this unhealed crap. And if he hadn't done that, I wouldn't be where I wouldn't be talking to you, right? I wouldn't have this beautiful wall behind me. Like I wouldn't be so happy as I am. So very grateful.
Yeah, that's so interesting because I saw something earlier about our journeys to awaken, and each of us are so different and so unique, right? So in order for that to happen for you to begin your awakening process, like that was that trigger, like that was what started it for the ball to be rolling. And you just took the opportunity and you took responsibility and for yourself.
Yeah.
And we're like, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be the happiest I can be. And I'm going to like heal myself, and I'm going to love myself. And look at like your life just shows, it mirrors that like reflection of love and respect that you wanted to give yourself. I love that so much. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Oh my God, no. It's incredibly hard. And you said this earlier, it's like looking at your shadows. Like I used to live a life where I never looked at my shadows. I knew they were there, but I pretended, rose-colored glasses, right? Like just my hair, like rose-colored, like heavy, thick, those grandma pink glasses. Like that was me. Like I couldn't see anything. I'd have to be like this to like face people. So being able to look in my darkness, in the ugly parts of me, the parts that I thought were unforgivable, and shining light in those parts and saying, you're forgiven. There's no need to be forgiven, first off. This was all intentional and purposeful. And you are loved. It doesn't matter. You are loved. You are loved, and you are loved by source, by God, by the universe. And having that sort of a peace with it. But it only comes when you're after looking at your shadows. Like I couldn't have gotten there without facing my demons and the skeletons in my closet.
That's what I think is extremely important right now is for people to begin to stop pointing and blaming and this hatred, and then like, going in and looking within and finding and asking, hold on, why did I react that way? Why do I feel this triggered? Like, hold on, it has nothing to do with me personally. What is this? And just start digging and asking those questions. Yeah, definitely. 1,000,000%. That's so extremely important, because then you have all these shadows and you're like putting your bed and your foundation on like gravel that's not even sturdy. And so it's I agree. It's just so hard. It's hard, but we could do it. Everybody, we could do it. We're good.
And we're going to do it. Like the more like even having this conversation, right? Regardless of who sees it, if one person goes, "Oh, that's interesting," or "That's a good point," like that's worth it, right?
Exactly.
And little by little, we're gonna get to this beautiful new earth, right? Like it's gonna be amazing. And I've tapped into it a couple of times, especially with Amelia, and it's so peaceful and like it's so loving. I can't explain the amount of love that exists just like walking around. Like it doesn't even have to be like with my family or whatever. Like it's just like walking around and you're like, oh, everybody's happy. Oh, now I notice the difference between 5D and like where we are right now, because like I can tell, right? So we're getting there. It's going to happen. It's not going to be pretty, but it's gonna happen.
Getting
Little.
there.
Getting there. But once we get there.
Yeah, and that all just depends too on everybody's on every single individual person, you
Mhm.
know? So
Mhm.
if I want to just focus on the most negative things or like the worries and sorrows, I mean, that's what I'm going to see. I'm going to see that in my life. Or if I want to focus and really take control and ownership in my
Mhm.
power
Mhm.
back,
Mhm. Yes, yes.
I can put things in place. See, again, like taking responsibility for yourself and for
Mhm.
what can I do to make my life better,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, we shall see. And okay, so hold on. I wanted to ask you before I forget. I wanted to ask you um on so the journey to forgiveness
Uh-huh.
and love
Yeah.
into yourself, that self love journey that you went through.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Jesus. So when I started, right, you know what codependency is, when I'm completely dependent on
Attached. Yes,
external
you're like
beings.
dead or not dead,
Like,
but you can't even survive
yeah,
without them.
yeah, they exactly like felt worthless, completely worthless if somebody wasn't telling me I'm doing a good job.
Mm.
Um, so when I started that process, I had an idea. I was like, I think this is what self-love is. And then I got to that point and I was like, no, there's more. It like even now, very recently I had so I have a really good friend, her name is Stephanie. And she and I are on the same wavelength. So we send each other like messages and we kind of like have conversations that wake us up both. And we had an experience where we decided, okay, like, what if all this love that we send out into the world, we send it back to ourselves? And I was like, I do that already. Like, I'm self love, I got this. And then I tried it where, like, I sent out the love and I was like, I love you, Stephanie. And then I was like, okay, send back that love to myself. And there was a wall. And I was like, wait, I've been doing all this work for years in what self love is. And I hit a wall and I was like, okay, so there's so many layers to it. Like you have to keep going and keep pushing. Um, and it wasn't until I was like, oh, why does this hurt so much that there's a wall, that I can start chip at that wall and allow back the love that I send to my friends back to myself, in the same capacity. So I can honestly say like, I'm in the journey of self-love, but I don't fully know if there's ever like a point that stops.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it's just a journey. It's just a process. It's just ever evolving, sort of like the same sort of like ascension. Like there just keeps being more, and you're like, oh, I don't know anything, but I want to keep going.
Yeah. It's like that saying, you're always a student, like you're a
Yes,
teacher, but you're always
yes,
a student.
yes, 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 exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And going back to what you said about healing master, because Amelia dubbed me healing master.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes.
Um, there was definitely an uncomfortableness about like claiming that. Even I was talking with you, and I was like, "Well, Amelia said that I'm healing master." That
I
was the
know,
first.
and I could totally relate. I can totally relate. So that's why I'm like so curious. Yeah. So go
Yeah.
ahead. Yes.
Um, it's like being comfortable with claiming certain parts of me and myself in this journey. I'm always going to be healing. It doesn't matter to me. Like there's always something to keep pursuing because source is completely healed, right? 0 point energy, that's completely healed. And not until I'm there am I completely healed. So just being okay with like, oh, that's just a level. The journey looks the same regardless of what level I'm at. I'm always just chasing the next bit of knowledge, the next dimension, the next awareness, and really the biggest thing, like practicing discernment. Like there's so many things out there in the world and even within the spiritual community that people are like, and this is 100% true. And sometimes you're like, well, that's mostly true. Like finding that what resonates, what doesn't resonate. that's the biggest lesson I think anybody can learn in the spiritual journey is discernment. The biggest, like if you have that tool, whew, you're gonna make it, and it's gonna be great.
Yes. And so then people are having trouble knowing, how do I know what's true? And I think it comes down to trusting yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? Like, how do they use discernment? Like, how do they, like, you have, so that's something huge right now too. Very important that people should, or
yeah.
not should, but explore.
So it is about definitely trusting yourself.
Yeah.
And you can take pause and ask yourself, is this true? Yes or
Mm.
no? And the more that you practice that, like questioning, the easier the answers will come. And even if, and I will tell you, there have been times in this journey where I was like, oh, is that true? And I heard 100% yes. And then further down the line going, oh no, that wasn't true. Realizing even in the mistakes in identifying when I thought something was true and wasn't true, and going back and going like, oh, how did that feel? Oh, it felt like slightly off, and trusting that. So even in the mess ups and the mistakes of discernment is part of the process of figuring out discernment.
Right. 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 That's so true. That's so true. Like, and then with the resonance, right? Like, does this resonate as true for me? You have to know, how does my body and
Yeah,
how do
yeah.
I sense and feel that resonance of truth?
Yes, yeah.
What does it feel like in my body? And it's okay to like say, I'm not sure. I'm going to sit on it. Like you said,
Yes.
take a moment and meditate on it, or do breath work, do whatever you can to ask your guides, or ask source, ask God, angels, whomever, to help you, your higher self, into figuring that out. And it will come to you, right? As we ask, we shall receive.
Yeah, yeah. And I would say there are times where I asked for clarity on something and I didn't get it instantaneously, and going like, okay, dude, like WTF. But for me, that was a lesson in like, you want an answer, you're not ready for the answer.
Mm.
Let go of your attachment to the answer, and then the answer will come.
Yes. The attachment and the expectation. Oh my
Yes,
gosh.
yes, yeah, yeah.
And that's something huge too, actually, is like letting go. Just letting go of control. Oh,
Oh, dude, so fucking hard.
I'm sure how.
Yeah, yeah.
How
And
did
you
you like?
can, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, there are parts of my life that I can be like, I've let that go, right? Like career, I can let that go. Family, I can let that go. But then romantic life, I'm like, where are you? Right? Like, twin flame, hello. It's kind of like, chill, dude. Like, calm down. That's not how it works. So we can be very good in one part or one aspect of ourselves, but trying to pull that lesson into all the parts of who we are and part of all of our experiences, like that's part of the journey. That's just
It's so true. Just experiencing it, finding it out, figuring it out as you go,
yeah.
and taking responsibility for
Hmm.
yourself and what you can control.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And forgiving yourself when you do mess up. Forgiving myself for going, oh no, I was
It's a big
totally
one.
needy in that piece of conversation, or oh yeah, no, that was my ego that came out. Like, I'm sorry, but like saying like that was just,
Mm-hmm.
I tired, sick, or hungry, and oh yes, yes, I was really tired, or yeah, no, I hadn't eaten the whole day, and that's why my ego came out, right? So just being
That's a good one. I
okay.
like that.
Well, that's Amelia's, right? Like it's,
Right.
if your ego is going to come out the easiest when you're tired, sick, or hungry. So if you're feeling triggered, am I tired, sick, or hungry? And
Yeah.
if those things, if you can, if at least one of them is yes, then you're like, okay, I need to eat, I need to go to bed, I need to take care of myself before I make a decision, whatever the situation is, because I don't want
Mm-hmm.
my ego to be ruling this conversation or the project, whatever it is that, you know, you're going on in life.
Yes. No, it's so, yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And to, again, like taking responsibility for yourself. Sorry, I had to
Mm-hmm.
charge my phone because it's dying. And so I lost my light. But um, anyway, yeah, take responsibility for yourself so then you're able to be better and the best that you can be for others. And then you're able to clearly see around you what needs to be cleared out or let go, etc. For sure.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And so, hold on, I'm going to turn on my light, but let me ask you. So, I saw a picture on your page.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I was like, I love that. I've been feeling like last year a lot. I was like, you know what? I really want to do that. Like, I want to just show, like, just this is me, and I love myself, and I'm proud of myself, no matter what. And so when I saw that on your page, she's in a sexy getup, and she's just loving herself. And so how was that like doing that? Like that was how do
Yes.
you feel after doing it too? Like that's huge.
Oh my God, there's so many questions. Okay.
I know, yeah, because I'm just like asking within myself, like, what? Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
so
I'm all
that
over.
that picture came about um through a lot of healing my traumas. Like, right, because I did say, like, even in the picture, like, I was sexually abused, and there was so much sexual shame, and I really thought sex was, or myself, whenever I thought of sex, I thought I was dirty, like literally dirty. That's what I used to think. So going through that process of looking at my shadows and going like, oh, I'm dirty, and going, nah, dude, you're a fucking goddess. And really shining a lot of that, really changing my perspective about my body and just seeing it as like, I picked this body, number one, for this journey. Number two, I need this body for this journey. It has protected me, it has housed me, it has contained me, it has loved me. Um, like this world is really heavy in energy sometimes, and I know 110% my fat, right? Like my body layers are a
Mm-hmm.
way of creating a physical protection for my soul so that energy that dense energy doesn't come as quickly into my heart. So there's a layer. So I know that I needed this body, especially throughout this whole journey in this particular lifetime. Thank you, body. So being grateful for what I have in all of my bits and all of it. Um, and I knew God told me I needed to take that picture, but I knew I was like, okay, take the picture when you're ready. And I knew that when I was gonna take that picture, I needed to post it. And it was a series, like it was a whole bunch of pictures. I knew I had to post at least one. So I did that session, and mind you, I'm completely single. I didn't do that for a boyfriend. I didn't do that for anybody else but myself. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really exploring like what is beauty, even putting on makeup and deciding what to wear, and even putting sexy lingerie on at a time in my life where I wasn't having sex. I wasn't seeing myself in a sexy way. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
really,
interesting.
really restructuring all the parts of me. And that was a big part of me that I had that was broken for a long time. And doing that without a partner, right? Like just doing it for me.
Yeah.
Um, and being comfortable with, even in the session, like getting somebody taking my picture of me in lingerie, a complete stranger, right? Like I've never met this lady before. Like, here, get naked. Like, okay.
Act natural
I'm
though.
fine.
Yeah.
And being comfortable with different poses and all that stuff. Like it was definitely an adventure. And getting in tune with my sacral chakra energy and my sexual energy without being ashamed, and again doing it just for me. So I, listening to sexy songs and like getting in that groove of like sexy time, but sexy time is just me time. So it's just this really multi-layered sort of
Dynamic.
process. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yeah, super complicated. Like not that easy at all.
Wow. Yeah.
But I knew that I needed to heal my feelings about sex and my feelings about my body and how they were tied together. Um, and I took that picture, and it took me. I knew I was gonna. God had told me like you need to post at least one picture. I was like, okay. But it was a couple months before I posted it, and it was around my birthday time, and I heard, okay, it's for your birthday. Like that's when you're gonna post the picture. Um, and I think the day before that morning, I had picked two different pictures. One was of me that was like literally like this, and you couldn't see my body.
Your body.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was the one that I ended up posting. And I felt so nervous and anxious and just like about it. I called a friend. I was like, "Hey, I need some help." And I was like, "I'm about to post this picture. I need some help to decide which one to post." There's the one that is like social media friendly. You can't really tell that I'm naked. You can't really tell what I'm doing. You just see a beautiful face, of
But it's
course.
not. It wasn't though. Like, I mean, that was just an excuse. That was a lie. Because really, it was like safe. It was like I'm
It
not
was
being
safe.
seen.
It was
It's I
safe.
don't want to be kicked off, so I should just use that one.
Yeah, and it was safe, and just this like I knew that once you post it on social media, like that's forever. Like
Yeah.
it'll
Instagram owns it.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, Instagram owns it. Anybody can take a screenshot. Like it's just forever out there. So do I want to be in the public eye in this picture that is, at least for a long time, I thought was like private, personal sort of. Um, and I was crying. I literally was crying. I was like, I don't know what to do. And she was like, okay, calm down. Like, how do you feel about this picture? Well, like I look pretty. It's a good one. How do you feel about this one? I was like, I feel powerful. And she was like, what picture do you want to post? And I was like, the powerful one. Right. Um, so very grateful that I have friends that like can hear my ego and go, okay, that's your ego. Let's figure this shit out. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I curse? Like I just cursing.
Yes.
Like, okay, okay,
Oh
okay.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And then posting that picture and knowing that it came from not for me, but I ideally, so like again, somebody looks at that picture and reads what I wrote and knows that I can do this too. And your body's amazing, wonderful. I chose it. And there's no shame in sex. There's no shame in my sexual energy. There's no shame in pleasure. There's no shame in any of this experience. Because that's just a lesson that I had to learn. It was really hard, but I learned it.
Yeah. And for you to have that reaction of like the crying and it being so hard, so difficult for you, I believe that was a huge growth opportunity that you went right through. So then like you just shift it up, and it's tough. It's like those things that are the hardest for us,
Yeah,
those are really,
the
that's like
biggest.
part of your life's lessons, like part of the
Mm-hmm.
stuff you're supposed to be experiencing in your life. Like, oh no. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. That resonated with me so much because I've always been, like I've always been a chubby, thick, beautiful girl, whatever, curvy girl. And I have a lot of shame around my body, family, guys,
Yeah.
whatever,
Mm-hmm.
negativity around it. Um, and I keep hearing that, like, if you have extra weight, that's just a protection for your body for some reason. But I kind of always was hearing it in the way of like protection, or like it's holding on to trauma.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, it might be both actually, but I'm like, okay, well, what is it holding on to? Like it's protecting me for a reason, like it's here for a reason. And so what is that? But then when you saying it, that really gave me chills how you explained it. Like it's protection. So then the energies, like the whatever negative energies or whatever, can't come to me and affect me so quickly. It's that protection, that shield around my body. And I
Hmm.
really love that. I really, really love that a lot. And it made me feel really proud of the body that I
Yeah.
chose.
Yeah.
Like, extreme, makes me emotional just like saying that. Um, and yeah, definitely. I really love that. Like, honestly, like, I could just like think on that and like journal on that for a while. Like, that was really good. That was really profound for me. So thank you for sharing. Honestly, that was like, it's really good. That was really good.
And if that's true for me, I will say.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and if we follow that logic, and I don't know if you've tapped into 5D or any other higher dimensions, but the energy is closer and closer and closer to love, right? And love is
Mm-hmm.
pure and love is just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Unconditional love. Um, the less I need protection.
Mm-hmm.
So as we move on to 5D and other dimensions, um, I will be able to love my body even more. And if I don't need that protection as much, then it can go. But perfectly saying, like, still amazing regardless, right? Still beautiful, still thank you, still thank you. That was my biggest shift for me, is like going from like, oh, why do I have this extra belly, right? And going like, no, thank you, extra belly, thank you, like flabby arms, thank you, I need you, I want you.
Those
Completely
are good
different.
affirmations. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's good. A good practice to start, start with. Write it on your mirror. This is what I'm thinking for myself. Like, write it on my mirror, whatever I feel that resonates with me with that. And really, 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 I mean, I have been trying to, like, love my
Yeah,
body more and
yeah,
say, thank you, thank you, thank
yeah.
you. But it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And that resonates with true to me too. Um, once your state of consciousness rises higher and
Mm-hmm.
higher,
Yeah,
I believe it will just fall away. So
yeah. And it's this that idea of like, once you start loving your body, the more into like, right, because I see that you're vegan, right? Right, like that idea of like living healthy
mm-hmm.
and having a healthy body, right? So more and more of those things start becoming in sync. Um, and that relationship can shift, but for as long as you go like, I hate my body, that's never going to change. You're never going to have a different body if you hate or don't
Ooh,
like your body. So polar opposite, that's when things start to change. Like, which is
yeah.
so, like, once you start loving that thing, then it starts to, you can let go of that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. That's some powerful stuff. That's powerful, especially letting go of that shame,
Mm-hmm.
that shame and the trauma that you hold in your body. Forgiving yourself. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's good. And so now um in your day-to-day practice, um what does that encompass? Like, what do you work, so Amelia, well, no, you are,
I am a healing master.
yes, you are,
Claiming it.
yes, yes. Okay, I have the healing master here. So then, what is, like, in your day-to-day, in your practice, like, you in your business, right? Like, what does that look like? What type of healing or modalities do you
Um, for me, the biggest energy shifter is I go for a run, and when I'm a little lazy or too tired or just can't do it, a walk in nature, in the forest, and just get
Mm,
lost for like an hour or two.
mm,
Listening to music. Music is a huge thing for me. And listening to the right kind of music, like very intentional about what I expose myself in each different environment.
mhm.
Super important. right now, especially after, we're about to hit a year of this whole,
Situation.
COVID. Yeah, situation. Yeah, situation. Um, right when it happened, I started to do daily baths with salt, frankincense, and bergamot, and dipping my head, like dipping my whole body, because the energy was so dense and heavy. I couldn't, especially earlier on in the journey, especially after it started. I couldn't tell the difference between what was mine and what was a collective, like what was other people's and what was my energy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hard to not be sucked into it. It may be like a day like today, right? Like it's so hard not to be sucked into dense energy, especially if so many people are feeling it. It gets louder or
Yeah, yeah,
stronger, maybe.
yeah.
Um, so I've definitely gotten into the practice of daily, you know, baths, cleansing baths. And if there's ever a week that I miss 2 or 3 days at a time, like I can feel it. Like I know, like, oh yeah, I haven't taken a bath in a couple of days. Right, not like I'm not clean, but like I haven't
No, yes,
done a cleansing in a
yes.
couple of days. So it's really important to be able to, because I'm an empath, so it's like
Hmm.
it's just really easy for me to tune in.
Yep.
Um,
And take on other people's emotions, even,
yeah.
and you know what? Even if you're not even aware of it,
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, yes.
you
Well,
take it
first
on.
up, tired, sick, or hungry. Am I tired, sick, or hungry? The energies
Mm-hmm.
are just gonna come. Like the less strong my defenses are. And I have a
Mm-hmm.
3D job. Like I have a job where I go to
Okay.
people, and
Me
and
too.
their energies aren't as the conversations are completely different than what we're having right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Right.
come home and I'm just like feeling that 3D, sheep sort of mentality. And I don't start to feel like myself until after I do a good cleanse. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely relate. It drags me down into like a stagnant kind of energy type. And that's just, I mean, as high as I'm gonna
yeah,
be,
yeah,
it's just because you're dealing with people so closely for so many hours a day. Just like Amelia was talking about, you rate them the closest
yes,
people in your life, and they're going to be the people who we work with right
yeah,
now. I mean,
yeah,
well, for me, some of them were on that list. I'm like, oh, crappy. So that's just right now, right?
yeah.
But to be aware of that, and that's so good. So okay, so the baths. It's is it Epsom salt that you use?
Well, it can be any kind of salt, but it can be Epsom salt. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sea
Okay.
salt, Epsom salt. If you're in a pinch, like table salt, whatever salt.
It's just cleansing.
It's
Yeah,
just
salt is
cleansing.
is
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, clearing,
yeah,
and it's just
yeah,
natural.
yeah.
And then
Oh, and
frankincense
I will say, yeah, frankincense and bergamot. And I will say,
protect.
yes. If anybody doesn't have a bath and you can't dunk yourself, sometimes what I do, like I went to Hawaii and there was just a shower. I get like a bowl or a cup even, and I just fill it with water and I do a couple of drops, the salt, and then I bless the water. And then I
Huh?
bless the water in the shower, and then I
Huh?
pour it over me, and it's the same sort of effect.
Oh, nice. And you know
Yeah.
what? Doing the head, the crown, the
Yes.
head is
Yes.
so important. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
take a bath right here and not even dunk your head,
You
but
know, you have to
do
dunk your head.
yeah.
You have to
Mm-hmm.
get in there. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, that makes me want to take a bath so bad. Oh, yeah, definitely. That's a really good tip. I know a lot of people that struggle, that are empaths and don't protect themselves. They don't really know what to do or what it is, and they're like new to even finding it out or even kind of thinking about it. So that's really, really good. Really good. That awareness, and again, taking responsibility and just doing like what you can for yourself, for your body.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
so good too.
Yeah. And
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 so,
I think you're saying it. Oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead. No, you.
You're saying exactly that sort of idea, like, what is it that I do to stay high vibe?
Right.
Putting myself first. And that
Yeah.
sounds selfish, but no. but no, putting myself and my needs first.
Mhm.
To be able to serve the world in the way that I'm supposed to, or even to be able to live my life in the way that I want to and desire to.
Mhm.
And I don't mean that in terms of like I want a big house or like, I want a nice car, I want lots of money. No, I mean I want to live a life where God is here and in every
Mhm.
single second of my waking experience and even my sleeping experience, like unconscious experience. I want to live that life because it's so beautiful and so blessed and just so calming. I have to. Am I tired, sick, or hungry? When's the last time I took a bath? When's the last time I went for a run in the forest? When was the last time that I did something that I
In
love
nature.
that fills me up? And that could be alone, or that could be with my family, or that could be with my brother, my sister, my sibling, whatever, right? When have I done things for me? And the more that I take care of myself and my needs in all aspects of my wholeness, right? And even going back to that point about the picture, right? Like my sexual part of me, that is a part of me. Am I taking care of myself sexually? Um,
Mhm.
the more that I take care of myself, the more I can shine. And the more I can shine, the bigger light I can be. And the more people will be like, "Oh, there's a light over there. How can I be like a light too?" Um, so it sounds like it's selfish, but it's actually the opposite. It's in service, serving myself, serving my needs
Mhm.
and my wants in this experience.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. No longer is it even considered selfish. It's self love. It's taking care of yourself. You're your number one priority,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I 100% agree with that. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah. So even like in going to like my 3D job, right? I do my very best to be cleansed and to be loving and to anchor into earth, be grounded before I walk into the building, right? Like being in my heart space before I go into the building. And people have I have exchanges with people, and sometimes people's egos will come up. And if I hadn't taken care of myself in any of the aspects, my ego would be like, who do you think you're talking to? But because I'm centered and because I'm taking care of myself and doing what I need for me, my higher self's the one that's like, that's their ego.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna walk away. End of story.
Yep.
But it was only because I took care of myself.
See, there you go. You let go. You took care of yourself. You took, yeah. Oh, it's so powerful. It sounds so easy, but it's so hard at times.
Yeah, and we all have different responsibilities.
Yeah.
Like I can't say, right? Like I'm single and I'm not a mother, um, so my time isn't divided like other people. But if anything that you take from this conversation, anybody who watches this conversation, take care of you. That's number one.
I love it. I love it. Yes. I for that, especially in 2021, especially. Well, as we wrap everything up, I want everybody to know it's been like an hour now. That like flew by so fast.
Yeah.
Um, you are so bright, and just look at your background. Like everything's just so bright about you. I was like, with doing the poster for this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really need to find something really colorful and like really cute, like maybe glittery. Like it just, yeah, it's just so beautiful. I'm honestly really honored that you came on and shared all your wisdom and knowledge that you have and experienced in your life thus far. Like honestly, thank you. Thank you. A lot of amazing nuggets and pieces for a lot of people, for me, and for a lot of people in my life, at least that I can think of. So that's
Thanks
good.
for having me, and I really hope that Source came out and said whatever needed to be said.
Yeah, I 100% I believe so. And is there how can everybody like follow you? I think I tagged
Yeah,
your
you did.
um
My the biggest thing I will say, can I just summarize really quickly?
yeah, yes, yes.
Um, uh, So how I stay high vibe is not necessarily, oh, yes, taking care of myself, but also the people around you, which is something we touched on. And it's really important to, as you raise your vibration, you find your soul family, and they will come to you, right? It's not like you have to like go digging for them. But being intentional about building those relationships. And I have a group of women, and we have like an Instagram chat, and like almost every hour of the day, we're like sending each other memes and articles on this stuff. And it's really great to support each other throughout the day, throughout the week, and remember that we are more than this physical body, this physical world, this physical experience. That there's something deeper, keep pursuing that. And it does take other people to help you when you aren't there, and you can do that for other people, right? So finding a community, finding your soul family, finding your sisters is so important. Like that's the thing that like pushes you. So with that being said, Empress Evolution is like, that's how I started this whole experience, right? Like I found Amelia through Empress Evolution, because it's a page where divine feminines can come and find their group, find their people. And I will say, like, physically, I am in Dallas, and I've never met another high vibe person in Dallas, but I have so many like sisters that live across the country, and even, different countries, that I'm so grateful for. And it was because of Empress Evolution. So like that's the main point of Empress Evolution, is helping people find their family, their cliques, their high vibe energy sisters.
Yes. I'm so glad that you brought that up. I'm so sorry. I kept hearing like about soul family, soul family. Like, was she alone? How's she fine? Like soul family, how was she fine? Who is she taught? Like da da da. And I just like ignored it, and I was like, no, yeah,
No,
I
no, no,
already
no.
know, because she's in a group now. Like I get it. Okay, fine.
See,
Anywho.
you should have asked me the question. My angels were my source was waiting for you to ask the question. You didn't ask the question, so I had to like, before we go. Now you gotta listen to it on interviews.
There you go. I mean, it's a constant lesson for me, ignoring my intuition. Like, come on. But yeah, but no, that's so extremely true. I think that's so important. It makes you feel less alone, because I was thinking like,
Yes,
how
yes.
did you feel alone?
Oh
Like,
my God, yeah.
yeah, yeah. See, and that's what's so. You said 20. What year did you like find Amelia, or how
Uh,
long? Have you,
yeah, it's about to be a
huh,
year of meeting
okay.
her and going through the process. I met her right before the situation. Of course, divinely guided to go through that process before we started the lockdowns.
Yeah, right. Perfect, perfect. But so you have, you're vibing high before, so you felt that loneliness.
Oh
And
yeah.
I love that there is Empress Evolution.
Yeah.
There is a community like that, just to bring in hope. In like the whole purpose is to bring these beautiful women together,
hmm
like
hmm
minded, so you don't feel alone. And that's why too I wanted to, do these lives, because there are people who are going through things, and they're like, they feel all alone, and they don't, but then if they hear, they're like, oh, I totally relate.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, we're
yeah.
in this, because even though we're all so different and so unique and going through whole different, situations and experiences, we're all still connecting. We can all still connect. We're all still like one energy. So
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, I definitely felt alone. I felt alone. I didn't know anybody I could talk to about this stuff at all, years ago. But just coming out, Empress Evolution, just so many people just coming out that you could just talk to left and right, and you're
Yeah.
like, ooh, cool, another soul sister, like,
Yeah.
oh, I think that's so special, and I love that you're involved, and yeah. So Empress Evolution,
Yes.
11,
Evan.
no, 111.
Yes, 11, 11. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
perfect. Oh,
totally a blessing to be a part of it. And ideally, we get bigger and bigger. And right, Amelia has this vision of like having carnivals or having days where like we have like a retreat and we just get together, and how beautiful and important it is that we meet. Yes, we can, we can talk through Instagram, but once we physically anchor this energy and like multiply, just multiply, that's another like changer. So it's multi-purposeful, not only to serve the community, to helping other women find other women, but also serving ultimately that like ascension for the whole earth, right? Because
mm-hmm.
we do it
Mm-hmm.
together. You can't do anything alone. And when like you know this idea, right? Like when people meditate in groups, like that effect, it multiplies,
Right. Two or
multiplies.
more, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
like two or more have, I don't know how the saying goes, but yes, it's even stronger. It's even
Yes,
more
yes,
powerful. So
yes,
that
yes.
connectiveness, that
Mm-hmm.
totogetherness. Oh yeah. And when Amelia talks about those retreats, like the summer of love that she's
Yes.
been talking about,
It's gonna be great.
seriously, I'm so excited because I have this year, no, 2020, I've like made so many connections and so many friendships just via Instagram. Like now we text, like whatever, like I feel so connected with so many people, and to know that there can be an event that we all can get together. Um, excuse me, that's like the best thing ever. I'm sorry, but like that's so fun. That's like, oh my god, seriously, amazing, amazing, because this
Yeah.
didn't have, like, this wasn't
No.
available.
Yeah.
Ugh,
We
yeah,
and this is all happening timely,
yeah,
intentionally,
yeah.
when it was supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I fully believe I came into this lifetime knowing like shit's gonna go down.
I'm so
Yeah.
happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here with you. We're just all magical and
Yes.
powerful, and
Yes.
it's just so
Yes.
much more fun on its way. Like
Yes.
seriously, really,
Yes.
really, truly. I mean, like real fun, like real fun. I mean, like sarcastic fun,
That was
but then
fun.
also like
Fun.
really, really fun. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, all good things. Gosh, I feel like I just want to like meditate with you or something. I don't know. I just feel like this. I don't know. It is so wild, but oh,
Well, thank you for having me, and thank you for having this platform. Like, this is amazing. The fact that you're like, okay, I have, I assume, a 9 to 5 job. I'm still
yeah,
gonna do this every Wednesday, right?
yeah.
So thank you for
I try.
listening and living your truth and doing this for other people, and that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for everything that you do too. Thank you. Oh, I don't want to let you go, but like I know it's time to let you go.
It's
Oh,
okay. We're friends now, right? Like,
yes, yes. And more to come, more to come, like more talks about as Empress Evolution, like, as the Summer of Love festivals come,
yes, yes,
we got to talk about it more. Come
yeah.
on, let us know. Oh, for sure. Oh, girl, it's going to be good.
It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be great.
Okay. Oh,
I love you. I love
well,
you. I love you.
I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, you guys. Oh my gosh. Go follow her. Everything she does. Seriously. Gosh. Okay. Thank you. Have a beautiful
All
night.
right, you
Rest
too.
well.
You
Sweet
too.
dreams.
Go take a bath, put some candles on, dim the lights, put some music on, do it up.
I will. I really am. I'm going to do it.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
I am. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Bye.